vibe coded a bunch of stuff to show you guys, and I'm going to show you how I built them and how you can use Vercel v0 to vibe code yourself. So the first thing I want to show you guys is something I called the chess RPG or dynamic chess combat, right? So you have to notice that when you use Vercel v0, it's very good at doing front-end stuff. So if you have something front-endy that you want to do, yeah, if you want to do something that's basically front-end heavy and display heavy, Vercel is a very good good vibe coding platform to do this. Just to show you what this thing actually does. So everyone here is familiar with chess, right? Okay, so one thing, so I hope everyone knows, even if you don't know how to play chess, you know what chess is. So one thing you've noticed with chess is when you take pieces, the attacker always wins. But that's not really fair because in real life, sometimes the attacker doesn't win, the defender also has a chance to win, right? So let's just turn this around. And now we have a chess RPG where maybe the attacker doesn't win all the time. So let's start playing, and you'll see here that the attacker has, sometimes it's the attacker's advantage, and sometimes we have a battle where the defender wins. Maybe the pawn is not strong enough to kill the knight. Let's go into how I built this. So one of the things you can do with Vercel is you can create forks, as you've seen before. And with forks, you can basically have a if you have something that works, you don't want to modify it, you basically fork a copy and then you can make your modifications to it. In order to do this kind of interface, I went through a longish process. So you can see the process is over here. So you start off with your basic prompt. So we can use, actually, we don't need to even write the actual prompt ourselves. We can use ChatGPT, can use GPT-5 to design a prompt for us. We can say, create checker. So let's say I want to create a checkers game where king promotion works as a probability. So you don't always get promoted. Maybe sometimes you don't. I want to use Vercel v0. Just give me the prompt. So here we can use ChatGPT to generate a prompt that we can use in the other engine. So we go here, and we just wait for ChatGPT to do its thing, and you can see it gives you an exact prompt. So you can go here, and then let's make a new chat with Vercel v0. So let's go v0, v0.app, new chat, paste in the prompt. And before you do any prompting here, there's a little, there's a little prompt tools here that you can click, and you can go enhance prompt. And this actually is a good practice to do with Vercel, because it takes a look at the prompt and breaks it down into steps. As you can see, usually it expands it to have more details and fill in gaps. And then you can go, all right. So as you've noticed, with building things vibe coded, it's almost never a one and done. You have to iterate through the process. So there's a bunch of things I built for today's demo, and you can see all of them have, so this is the chess. You can see it went through many different iterations, debugging, but you can kind of wait until it's done. It'll give you a little game. But But while it does that, let's take a look at some of the other stuff I built. So one of the other things I brought to demo is something I call strategic Tetris. So if you're familiar with Tetris, you can play Tetris like so, but sometimes you don't know what's coming up next, so you can actually control it here. So next I want a T, and there you go, that's a T. And then next I want this guy, so I get that guy next. And then you can take your own favorite things. If you have a UI, you can integrate a UI and you can say, I want to add a button that does something. What if there was a pause button in playing back something? What if there was a counter? And this is the power of Vercel. It lets you add elements that you think would make your experience better. Our is still going, so we'll just wait for that to finish. Take a look at the left side and see you can see the structure. You can also see things like what it's supposed to be. It's still in progress, and intermittently, it's going to show you what the UI components it's already built. And it's going to come several tasks which it's working on. So if you click on the task in progress, it's going to show you what are the things it's already built and what are the things it's working on and where it is right now. So if you click on any of the thought bubbles, it's going to give you, it's kind of like a chain of thought reasoning. So you can see this, and this becomes important later on when you want to debug something. If something's wrong, you can go back here and take a look at some component that might be missing, some path that might be missing, etc. Whenever you start running something in Vercel, often you're going to run into these errors. You're going to see there's an error that pops up. There's a little button called Fix with V0. You can either copy and paste this error, or you can just go click Fix with V0, and it's automatically going to start the debug process. And you will see the debug over. And we're done with the checkers.
Oh, let's see what.
So, I mean, a game of checkers might take, but let's see if this guy. Oh, there you go.
That's cool. One shot.
Okay, so any questions? Any comments? Yes.
If you're gonna do UI interface, right? In that sense, and you have it back, and in that sense, and you're like how do you, in short 30 seconds, bridge them both together to have options and make them match?
Very good question.
Thank you.
So, for example, let's say you have a backend already. What you can do is there's this little connector branch. So you can actually integrate into a new repository that has all your code ready, and you can say integrate with this backend, or you can do a predefined routes.tsx. So when you have your routes defined, you can actually just integrate straight into your GitHub and then synchronize that way.
Can you do GPT and Vercel both into GitHub? In that sense, they're both thinking at the same time?
Yes, you can connect Vercel to your GitHub. So I've already done this connection. So I have my, I can connect whatever repository I have.
Right.
On GPT, if you go here, you're gonna go this, and then there's a connectors. Oops. Yeah, you can do use connectors, and then go here, GitHub, and then you can configure and share your repository. Use the same GitHub repository here. Thank you. Good question. Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'll screen and then you
Oh, no, you're good. I can hear you.
Thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome.
You created so many fun examples. I'm wondering, how to go through iteration when you're trying to work on, when you're trying to experiment experiment with the UI, but you have some.
Whoa.
When you're trying to experiment with the UI, but you don't want to mess up the back end. And I found that one project I'm working on, because I'm connected, like I'm integrated with a SEPA base, I can't remix the project and I can't like safely iterate on the UI. So curious on your thoughts around doing that, like kind of more experimental work without wanting to mess up something that you know is working, because I've gotten into these loops where the fix loop that kind of messes up the whole project.
Great question. So there's two things you need to consider. The first thing is when you're in Vercel, you can use the fork option. So when you fork, you leave whatever's working in this state, and it creates an entirely new chat. So let's just go here. If you go fork, and it says create a copy of this generation, new fork, and then when you do that, you're going to see it opens up a new window, and this is an exact copy. So it's pretty much like forking in GitHub. What you can also do is when you connect to a repo, let's say we're going to connect to a repo, and then we can do blah, 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 blah. So do checkers, test. You can create a repo, and you can put it in a separate branch. So what you can do is whenever you make a new fork here, you can fork it to a different branch, and then when you're satisfied, you can do the merge on the GitHub side. So there's pretty much, it's a two-pronged effort. So you maintain the version, and you maintain it in not the main branch, but in a different branch, and when you're satisfied with all the changes you've made, you can do like a cascading merge, if that makes sense. Okay, you're welcome. All right, okay, thank you very much, everyone.